so you will have to call the regular session to order.
Okay.
And we are live. I don't know if you feel like I should do the roll call again.
That was a Jerry thing.
Okay.
Jerry, do you think it's important to call the roll call at the start of every meeting?
Well, if we have some way to confirm who's present without that and it's recorded, you don't. I just thought that was something we could do to make sure we know who's there.
Yeah, sometimes it's a little bit challenging with Zoom if you're muted and your video is off. It is a problem to confirm that that person is still actually in the meeting. Like, I'm not sure, Judy Newman, if you are still in the meeting right now or not. I think she left. So I'm gonna help her leave, I think. And then everybody else, I think, is really here, unless Michael's having trouble restarting. But we are live now. There he is.
Michael.
So we can go ahead and start.
Okay, then I think, yeah, we have our normal group here, and we're, well, with the exception of Becca Sanders is here as well.
Yep.
I
think we're going to kick her off too.
Just make Genevieve do it. I'll call us into session for regular session at 4:57. Do we have any modifications or additions to the agenda?
President Everett, none from staff.
Any public comment?
None received.
The consent agenda. Sorry?
Well, maybe just in the essence of time that Becca has spent in this whole thing, would it be possible to maybe move the action item of budget committee appointment up so that she doesn't have to sit through everything unless she wants to?
Actually, yeah, I'd entertain that, and we can move that one action item to current consideration. Appoint new members to the budget committee for a term of 4 years. And there are 2 budget committee applicants. Can I have discussion then about the appointment?
There were, I think, Becca Sanders put her application in early, and then right before the packet came in, Chris Roebuck had an application. The only thing I would have as staff, I don't know, you can take it or leave it, but the only thing I have as staff is we have 2 people on our budget committee that are on the aviation side of things. So I would look at someone, I would look more, it would be more diversified if we had sort of a non-aviation person on the budget committee, which I think Becca has, fits that bill.
As a commissioner, are we allowed to have Becca say anything?
Yeah, Becca, would you like to speak?
So I'm a strong non-aviation candidate. I do not know how to fly a plane. You mean just, what do you want me to say? Just sort of my motivation, or what's most helpful?
Yeah, well, actually, I thought your application was perfect. But yeah, what's your motivation for working on budget committee?
I think it's an interesting way to get involved. So I think I would be, I need to shove in the right direction, as poor Genevieve has already seen. I've been already high maintenance out the gate. But I mean, if you tell me,
I love that stuff.
If you tell me what you need done and what you want reviewed and what you're looking for, I can sort of follow those directions. I'm not by any means sort of a fiscal expert. I do have a spreadsheet job, but none of it has dollar signs in front of it. I flip spreadsheets for a living in a completely different field. So I felt like I was tracking everything, but I think I'll just need help on sort of clarity of the role, like what's most helpful, in terms of the type of contribution to make. But I'd be all in on sort of A for effort, but I wouldn't say I'm a budget expert by any means. So, and I can't fly a plane. And I'm a waterfront user, big time. I'm down there a lot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we're in the canoe club together, full disclosure.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah. So I guess, and Chris left, and I'd take a nomination if anybody would like to make one.
I would like to nominate Becca Sanders for the budget committee. I've known Becca years. We worked together on United Way, gosh, years ago. But great to have her back in the community. Very engaged, very bright. I think she'd be an excellent candidate. I'd like to nominate Becca.
I would like to second that nomination.
Okay, then can we get a vote of commissioners?
Meriwether, aye.
Chapman, aye.
Drake guy.
Shepherd's eye.
Everett, aye. So that's unanimous. Becca, welcome aboard. Thanks very much for your service.
Thank you. Looking forward to it.
We'll see you on May 4th.
All right, sounds good. I'll be checking in with you prior. Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye. Thanks, Christy. There's no reason for her to wait through all the rest of this. Although I do think it's going to be fast. On the consent agenda, can I get a motion?
I move approval of the consent agenda.
Shepherd, second.
Okay, is any moved and seconded? Any discussion? All in favor?
Meriwether, aye.
Shepherd, eye.
Drake guy.
Chapman, aye.
Everett, aye. Passes. Informational reports. Anybody want to hear more from Kevin, or was reading adequate?
Reading was adequate. I'm just super stoked that we're getting headway with the tribals.
Absolutely. I was going to make the same point. That's wonderful. Thank you, Kevin.
Yeah, it's nice to see a little bit of response coming from the tribes, and it's all very, very positive. At the end of the day, they use the bridge too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and this was more than just a little bit. That was big progress.
Yeah, and I do think we should continue moving forward, trying to figure out ways to support their efforts in the sale of fish, and like it was mentioned in their hopefully helping with their processing facility, and however we can support them, I'm all in.
Well, I will just add something real quick. For the BiState working group meeting, I did add an agenda item for membership, just for the BiState working group to discuss whether we should ask for some type of tribal representation on the BiState working group. So, but again, it's just, we've really seen a great improvement in the relationship building with the tribe. And so we'll be taking that item to the BiState working group for feedback.
Well, I already give a thumbs up to that, so.
Okay, then there's no presentation and discussion items. That takes us to the executive report. Michael?
Well, I did want to highlight a few things, but this is a long report, mostly self-explanatory. You see the budget preparation schedule up ahead. I again appreciate knowing in advance if any commissioner cannot attend. Under COVID, I wanted to shout out to Ann Medenbach. Kind of one of the last things she was able to do, it looks like, we haven't confirmed it, is to secure 100,000 from the this Business Oregon program that goes to repay or compensate landlords that have deferred lease payments. If we can secure that and finalize it, that will mean a subsequent amendment to the Freem lease to acknowledge that payment. A little down a little further, I do intend to start interviews where we've assembled what I think is a pretty solid pool for the replacement of the property manager position, and I'll start interviews there the week of the 12th. I did want to just try to describe as best I can, and I tried to write it down here, but there's a lot of potential grant opportunities out there right now, and they're coming at us from all directions, and there's often quick turnaround timelines. We talked about them before, but just to kind of try to roll it up, at the federal level, there is the reemergence of what used to be called earmarks and now called community-directed projects. It's still not entirely clear, but that means that every congressperson and every senator depending, I suppose, on seniority, depending on their party, has a certain amount of funding that they have access to direct at certain projects within their district or their state. And so we are working with Hal Heemstra closely, because there's not only a sort of form that has been put out to submit a request for funding for Senator or Congressman Bentz and through both of our senators in Oregon. It's as yet, it's a little hard to tell what the magnitude of it is. It depends on whether it's part of a, say, the transportation reauthorization bill or some other component of the federal budget. But we do plan to submit an additional request under reauthorization for the bridge, probably $5 million. But what we're hearing is that each senator has something on the order of $24 million or so that they have. And check me if I'm wrong here, Kevin, on what you know. But there's a certain amount that they can allocate to their state or their district. So the question is, to what extent is this a priority within their own, the calculus that they're making about their constituents' needs? So the deadline for those requests is the 16th of April, and so we'll be working on that next week. And last week was this very quick, as we talked about, request for project ideas. We received an email, I think you all did too, from Representative Williams' office that laid out the opportunity, set what the deadline was, and the request was for any projects to be submitted there. We knew that the sewer line was a request that Representative Williams and Senator Thompson were going to carry forward. And that's a sort of a do-over of the prior lottery allocation that was made that then had to be pulled back. So there's an effort to try to fund those projects that had been committed before. So those are in the hopper. But then we've also submitted, of course, a request for $5 million from the state of Oregon. That needed to be an application. And then we talked about adding the Lot 1, Anchor Way, First Street, commercial hangar, and the fill project at the Handle Mill. So each of those projects went in. It's really hard to tell right now what the process is going to be for making that selection. I don't think I doubt that it will be fully understood or public, that it'll be the sort of a determination by the leadership in the State House, and depending on the members and the extent to which they advocate for this or that project. So it's entirely unclear if any of those are going to get traction. But we do believe there's a pretty positive movement forward on the $5 million request based on feedback we got from the Joint Transportation Committee. So there well may be others, but in fact, there's one, the Travel Oregon grant, I think was sort of a COVID relief recovery related grant opportunity. So we've submitted on that. So we'll try to keep you appraised of these opportunities as we submit them and as we find out the results. But there's a lot of possibilities that are out there right now, and we're trying to take advantage of as many as we can.
Michael, there's also the Capitol Construction Elevator presentation in an upcoming Friday as well.
Yeah, the Capitol Construction Subcommittee, that's really a redo or a reinforcement of the $5 million bridge request. So
it is, and we may, from what I'm hearing, it may be an opportunity for them, if they have additional funds, to add additional funds to worthy projects. So
okay, and that could be coming up in 1 to 3 weeks. And as we understood it from Thorn Run, we have about 2 minutes to present whatever project we're going to present. So it's quick. So the last two things are just to, reiterate, and I think the commission should just recognize the really good work that's been taking place by our facilities department. The ADA launch at the ramp at the marina restroom, the wheel stops, and there'll be striping that's placed at the end of the hook. And the 2 weeks of bridge welding that just occurred with our guys flagging and 2 of our guys welding for 2 weeks really, really good work and a lot of it that's been taking place and getting ready for springtime. And I'll just mention it, I think I did before, but the inspections are now scheduled for April 25th through 29th of the lift span, and those are going to require a significant lengthy raising of the lift span. So 40 to 45 minutes, that's a big challenge during the day. And so just know that we're going to make every effort to make sure that through law enforcement and constant contact and press releases and electronic reader boards, we're going to try to get the word out as much as possible. And yet there will be traffic impacts. So we'll be discussing them with the city police in Hood River and also across the river in White Salmon, because there will be traffic tie-ups and there will be impacts, and there will be a lot of probably a lot of people that have questions or concerns. Try to make it as quick as possible, but those just have to get done, and they have to get done during the day. So the rest is all written down. That's my report. If there are any questions, I can answer them.
If I could real quick, also just a reminder, if you haven't already done so, April 15th is the deadline to file your statement of economic interest with the Oregon Government Ethics Commission. If you need help with that, I'm your jurisdictional contact.
Thanks for that reminder.
I don't know if this is necessarily relating to your director's report or the bridge replacement. I am getting a lot of people contacting me about the bike ped lane on the new bridge. And I'm wondering, and this, Kevin, this might be a better question to start with the BiState group, is that the infrastructure for bike ped on the Washington side as it stands is not very good. And so we might want to start looking at that in regards to the future potential new bridge with better bike. I know it's better on our side than it is on the Washington side. So we might want to start considering how we can support that infrastructure for the bridge on the Washington side.
Yeah, I think that would be a great item just to bring up at the BiState working group next week. Just I've heard off and on comments about the lack of bike facilities on the Washington side, so certainly worth bringing up at the next working group meeting.
While we're on that topic, I have received a couple of comments lately. I had never thought about this, but as the channel is closer to the Washington side, and now we have, rather than a lift, we're going to have the bridge platform essentially that high off ground. What is the grade anticipated to be between Highway 14 and the peak that it needs to reach? Are people going to be able to pedal up that?
Yeah, it's definitely going to be different, isn't it? I mean, yeah. I think right now, correct me if I'm wrong, I think at grade, are we 56 feet when the lift is down? So if we're going from 56 up to 40, that's a pretty significant rise, certainly coming from the Washington side. What the grade is, I can take a look at that and report back. But yeah, it'll definitely be a little steeper coming from that side. But you'll be able to cruise coming from Oregon into Washington.
We'll let e-bikes on it, right? And you can get up that way.
And just for those of you who don't know, Gail Oberst is attending now. She is a writer for Columbia Gorge News, and she's covering Kirby's former beat. So welcome, Gail.
Welcome, Gail. Yeah. Okay, then that would take us to Commissioner Committee reports. Christy, you want to give a recap of our last BiState work group?
Mute button. I guess I don't have much to report. I think everyone is still on the same page of moving forward, wanting to get more information about P3s is still seemingly a very important topic for people, and just keeping the momentum going, because we do have so much support from the Washington side legislation.
Yeah, I would agree with all that and add that Arthur and Jacob both were really vocal at the last meetings. It's like people are getting comfortable with the group and comfortable to speak up, comfortable to have frank, open discussion. That was a good sign, I thought. Yeah.
One thing, I did have a phone conversation with Commissioner Anderson from Klickitat, and I think some of the Washington folks would like to add more specific goals or tasks under each of those strategic principles. So I anticipate, Christy, I'm not sure if you're going to be at that meeting, John. Sorry
No,
about
I'm
that.
absent for the next one.
Sorry about that. So I think they may want to start populating some tasks under those strategic principles.
Okay. All right. And we have another action item next, which is to approve addendum number 2 to the contract with Kaufman Engineering services related to bridge approach ramp repair. Absent discussion, can I get a motion?
I'll move we approve the addendum number 2 to contract with Kaufman Engineering for engineering services for the Hood River White Salmon Interstate approach ramps not to exceed $91,240.
Right, second.
Okay, moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? And all in favor?
Fairweather's aye.
Okay.
Shepherd,
Okay, Everett, aye, and I think that's unanimous.
Oh,
Then commission call, any commissioner have an issue they'd like to bring forward? I'm assuming we have no executive session.
no, we do not.
In that case, we're adjourned.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye, everybody.
Thanks, guys.
All right.